Biology, Lesson 5, Mitosis, otherwise known as cell division. Let's get to the marks. So, can you remember the organelles or cell structures in an animal cell? Where is the DNA found? That's right, you'll find the DNA inside the nucleus. But what about the structure that controls entry and exit from the cell? That's the cell membrane. And what structure is where the chemical reactions happen? Cytoplasm. And what structure makes the proteins? The ribosomes. And finally, who's responsible for aerobic respiration? And that's the mitochondria, which releases energy. So what is cell division? Well, cell division is when one cell splits into two cells. And we call the first cell that splits the parent cell. And we call the two cells that are formed from it the daughter cells. What do you notice about the daughter cells in the diagram and the parent cell? Count the ribosomes and the mitochondria. You should notice that they have the same amount of organelles. And this is because the daughter cells are identical to the parent cell. And this is what happens in mitosis. So why do we need mitosis? Well, look at this little baby. What's going to happen? Well, it needs new cells. It needs to grow, new skin, new bones, new hair. And so it needs to divide by cell division. Also, what if we get injured? How do we make new skin or new bones? Well, we can repair by mitosis as well, by creating new cells. Now, all multicellular organisms need to do mitosis to make new cells. And multicellular organisms consist of things like animals, plants, and fungi. Now, a cell spends most of its life in growth and cell division. And we can see from the orange part of this circle, this is the growth phase. And during this phase, a cell will double its mitochondria, double its ribosomes, grow new chemicals and proteins, and double its DNA. This is known as the growth phase. Most of its life it will spend in this phase, and a short part of its life it will spend dividing. Now think about yourself. If you had to make two of you and split into two new yous, you'd need two hearts and two brains before you split. And that's exactly what a cell does. It doubles all the important structures before it divides into two identical copies. And we call this mitosis. So let's look a bit deeper into mitosis. This next diagram is going to show you exactly how the organelles double. So we can see from the diagram that before the cell divides, it doubles the mitochondria and ribosomes from 3 to 6 and then splits so that each of the daughters have an even amount. Now the doubling takes part in the growth stage, the orange stage on my cycle, and the splitting takes part in the stage known as mitosis. Now it's not just the organelles that need to double, but inside the nucleus, the genetic material, the very code of life needs to double too. And this is found on the chromosomes. We can see here there's a blue chromosome and a green one. Before the cell can split, they must double. And when they do this, they form X shapes. So you can see a blue X and a green X. They represent the doubled chromosomes. Now, what happens when they split? Well, this is the bit here that is called mitosis. And first of all, the X shapes line up on the middle of the cell. And then invisible cell fibers or hairs tense and rip the X shapes apart, pulling an equal amount to each end of the cell. And then in the final stage of mitosis, the cytoplasm tears into two, and two nucleuses form, or nuclei, and we have two daughter cells with the identical amount of chromosomes to the original parent cell that we had in the growth phase. So that's cell division and that's mitosis. Let's summarize. The cell cycle has two stages. A growth phase, shown here in orange, which is where the mitochondria, ribosomes, the cytoplasm, the cell membrane, they all double, and the DNA. And then it has a mitosis phase where the parent cell divides into two genetically identical cells. Now let's look at some questions. You can pause the video now before I go through the answers. Okay, let's go through the answers. What is another name for cell division? Mitosis. What two things have to happen? What two things have to happen before cell division? That's growth of organelles and doubling of the DNA. What shape do the chromosomes take? X shapes. How many daughter cells are made in mitosis? 2. Are the daughter cells different than the parent? No, they're identical, genetically identical. And what are the 2 reasons that all living things do mitosis? Growth and repair. How did you do? Hit the like, subscribe, help me grow the channel so I can get all of the science done for you. Let's get to the marks.